The hidden gesture that triggers deep attraction in women. Have you ever noticed how some men don't say much, don't show off, yet women feel drawn to them almost instantly? There is a single gesture, quiet, grounded, and deeply masculine, that can make a woman feel seen and safe within seconds. And here's the truth most men miss: it has nothing to do with looks, money, or clever lines. As Leo Tolstoy once said, love is not about possession. Love is about appreciation. This gesture comes from appreciation, presence, and inner steadiness qualities that can't be faked and are rarely practiced today. In this video, we'll break down what this gesture really is, why it works on both an emotional and psychological level, how to tell when she's responding to it, and how to express it naturally without trying to compress or perform. But before we go deeper, if this message already resonates, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Now I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your country and city in the comments. And tell me honestly, do you believe one simple, genuine gesture can create real attraction? Share your thoughts. Your voice is what builds this community. Now let's begin. 1. The most common mistake men make. Most men keep repeating the same mistake when they want to connect with a woman, and it feels reasonable to them, almost logical, because they believe attraction is something you build by impressing her. So they add more effort, more words, more explanations, more proof, more humor, more stories, more demonstrations of value. And they think if they just do enough, something will click. But that belief is exactly why most men get connection completely wrong. Because attraction does not begin in a woman's logical mind. It begins in her body, and it happens far faster than most men are willing to accept. We are talking milliseconds before a sentence is finished, before a joke lands, before an achievement is mentioned. Her nervous system is already responding through thousands of years of evolution. Female psychology has been shaped to detect intention, emotional stability, and safety instantly, not through analysis, but through sensation. And that is why a woman can meet a man and almost immediately feel something clear and strong without being able to logically explain it. I feel calm here, I feel safe, I feel drawn in. Or the opposite, something feels tense, something feels rushed, something feels off. That sensitivity is not intuition. In a mystical sense, it is biology doing exactly what it was designed to do. And this is where the manly gesture almost nobody uses becomes so powerful, because it bypasses the need to convince and speaks directly to her nervous system. Don't rush to fill silence, don't perform, don't try to stare the moment, be present, be still, be grounded in your body and your pace. That pause before you speak, that relaxed breath, that unhurried movement, that ability to listen without interrupting, that calm eye contact, without forcing intensity, that is the gesture. It signals emotional self-control. It signals confidence without aggression. It signals safety without weakness. And safety is where attraction quietly grows. This is why so many psychology tricks fail when men use them mechanically. Because psychology tricks aimed at the mind miss the fact that female psychology has already decided how it feels. Long before logic shows up, a woman's body responds to regulation, not stimulation. When you are calm, she feels calmer. When you are centered, she feels steadier. When you are not trying to impress, she feels no pressure to perform either. That is how to fall in love begins in the real world. Not with excitement first, but with ease. You must understand this deeply. Attraction is not created by chasing attention. It is created by creating emotional space. Be slower than the moment demands. Be quieter than your impulse wants. Let silence work for you instead of fighting it. That calm presence is rare, and rarity is attractive when you master this. You stop needing constant psychology tricks because your behavior itself aligns with female psychology at the deepest level. This is how to fall in love unfolds naturally when a woman feels safe enough to open, curious enough to stay, and relaxed enough to let attraction grow without force. 2. What happens biologically and emotionally? 2. What happens biologically and emotionally when a woman perceives authenticity plus security plus genuine intention is not a mystery, even though it often feels like one to men, because the process happens below language, below logic, and below conscious choice. And that is exactly why it is so powerful when those three signals align. Something ancient wakes up inside her nervous system, an evolutionary truth that has been refined over thousands of years. And in that moment, an emotional switch flips that she cannot consciously control. No matter how intelligent, guarded, or experienced she is, don't argue with this. Don't try to outthink it. This is biology meeting. Emotion in real time, her system is designed to scan for safety. First, then intention, then consistency. And when those signals feel real, not forced, not rushed, not performative, her natural defenses drop without her deciding to lower them. That is what most men never understand. She is not choosing to open the opening. Happens what I call an emotional opening is created not through persuasion, but through presence. Be clear on this. Be steady. Be real. That is what signals a high-value man long before titles or accomplishments ever enter the room. When authenticity is felt, her body relaxes when security is sensed. Her breath deepens when genuine intention is perceived. Her attention stays. This is not romance, novel fantasy. This is female psychology, responding to masculine energy that is calm, grounded, and unthreatening. And here is the part that makes many men uncomfortable but also explains everything. The most powerful moment is when her body will betray her. She can't hide it. Her posture softens, her voice changes slightly, her eyes linger a fraction longer, her movements become slower, more fluid. These are not conscious signals. They're involuntary responses. That is why no surface-level advice can compete with real presence. Don't perform confidence, be confident. Don't chase reactions, create safety. You must understand that to attract women at a deep level, you are not triggering desire through words. You are allowing her nervous system to feel regulated in your presence. That regulation is the foundation of attraction. This is why men who talk less but feel solid are often perceived as more attractive than men who say all the right things but feel restless. Masculine energy, when it is healthy, does not push it, holds it, does not impress it, reassures it, does not demand it, invites. And when a woman feels that her defenses no longer need to stay alert, the emotional switch flips, the emotional opening forms. Her body responds before her mind can object. That is not manipulation, that is alignment. Be careful here, this is not about tricks. This is about becoming the kind of man whose internal state communicates safety and direction. At the same time, that is the signature of a high-value man, and it is why he can attract women without chasing or proving. When your presence is congruent, when your actions match your energy, when your intention feels clean, female psychology responds automatically. You must stop trying to convince her that you are trustworthy and start being someone whose energy feels trustworthy. Don't rush intimacy. Don't force momentum. Let the emotional opening expand naturally. That patience is masculine energy at its most powerful. It signals strength without pressure. It signals interest without urgency. It signals desire without neediness. And this is why her body will betray her in the best possible way, because the nervous system cannot lie even when the mind wants to stay cautious. This is how men who truly attract women operate differently. They understand that attraction is not built by stacking techniques, but by embodying consistency. Be calm, be intentional, be present. That is how the emotional switch flips. That is how defenses lower. That is how attraction moves from resistance to receptivity, without a single word needing to explain it if this hit home. Take action right now. Drop this in the comments and lock it in. I move with calm intention, and my presence speaks before my words. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay with us, because a man who doesn't rush is a man who commands respect. 3. The melting gesture, the 3 key elements. What almost nobody teaches men anymore, but what women still feel instantly and deeply, is not a line, not a trick, not a performance, but a gesture rooted in old Stoic wisdom. The slow approach, the firm, yet soft gaze, and the courage to leave silent space untouched. Because this combination communicates something rarer than confidence. It communicates inner completeness. And that is why it melts a woman without effort. The slow approach matters because speed signals need urgency, signals hunger and hunger. No matter how well dressed creates pressure, while calm movement signals control intention and self-respect. The kind of control that comes from an iron mind that does not rush toward outcomes but allows moments to unfold. When you move slowly, you are telling her without words that you are not chasing validation, not performing for approval, not trying to win anything. You are simply arriving, and arrival without urgency is power. Then comes the gaze, the most misunderstood and most powerful element. Because this is not a predator stare that invades her space, and it is not a timid glance that escapes too quickly, but a grounded, relaxed, steady look that says, "I see you and I am comfortable here." A gaze that holds for a breath longer than average, then softens, then returns, never demanding, never withdrawing, never apologizing for its presence, Marcus Aurelius wrote. Be satisfied with even the smallest progress and treat the result of it as no small matter. And this gaze is exactly that: small, controlled, intentional, yet profoundly felt. The reason most men fail here is intention. When your eyes are secretly asking for something, approval, attraction, reassurance, women sense the imbalance immediately because need leaks through micro-expressions faster than words ever could. But when your intention is simply to share the moment, to stand calmly in it, to allow silence to exist without filling it, her nervous system relaxes, and relaxation is where attraction begins. Silence in modern life has become terrifying for many men because they confuse constant talking with value. But silence is not emptiness, it is space. And space allows emotions to breathe when you can stand in silence without fidgeting, without explaining yourself, without reaching for your phone or your ego. You demonstrate self-trust, and self-trust is magnetic. Epictetus taught that freedom is found in wanting nothing outside yourself. And when a woman feels that you want nothing from her, no reaction, no confirmation, no outcome, she feels safe to move toward you. Because safety is the soil in which desire grows in today's world. Of endless notifications, rushed conversations, and performative confidence. This gesture stands out because it feels ancient, grounded, almost forgotten, yet deeply familiar, like something her body recognizes before her mind explains it. This is why Stoicism when is not about tricks, but about mastery, because mastery removes need and needlessness creates gravity. You must practice this deliberately, slow your walk. As you approach, feel your feet on the ground. Lift your eyes calmly, hold her gaze with warmth. Not hunger, allow a pause before speaking. And if silence appears, let it stay. Do not rush to rescue it, because the man who can sit comfortably in silence is telling the world he trusts himself. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free," and bravery here is not loudness. It is restraint. It is choosing not to chase the moment, but to inhabit it fully. And when you inhabit the moment, others feel invited into it. Repeat this principle in business meetings, in conversations with friends, and everyday interactions. Because consistency builds identity, and identity builds attraction without effort. This is old Stoic wisdom applied to modern relationships, where the strongest signal you can send is calm presence. Do not stare, do not avoid, be there. Be steady, be unhurried. Let your gaze say what words cannot. I am complete and I choose to share this moment with you. This is not manipulation, it is alignment. This is not performance, it is posture of the soul. Train it daily, walk slower, breathe deeper, speak less, hold space longer. Let silence work for you. Let your eyes communicate certainty without demand. This is how you build an iron mind. This is how you win quietly. This is why the Stoic way is not about conquering others, but mastering yourself. Because when you master yourself, attraction follows naturally, effortlessly, and on your terms. 4. The three elements revealed. The secure silence is one of the most misunderstood yet powerful gestures a man can use, and almost nobody truly masters it, even though it sits at the very center of attraction and connection. This is the moment where most men quietly lose ground without realizing it. A pause appears, a few seconds of stillness settle into the air, and instead of standing calmly inside that moment, many men rush to escape it. They talk, they explain, they joke. They fill the space with noise, not because it adds value, but because silence makes them uneasy. Don't do that. Be aware of what's happening beneath the surface. That discomfort isn't coming from her. It's coming from a lack of inner stillness, and female psychology responds instantly to that. Well-handled silence is not awkward. It is not empty. It is full. It carries presence, certainty, and quiet confidence. It communicates something powerful without a single word. That is why it works so deeply in female psychology, and why it plays such a central role in how to fall in love naturally, without effort or performance, when you remain calm in silence. You're not withdrawing, you're not disengaging. You are anchoring the moment you are saying. Without saying it, I am comfortable with myself and I am comfortable with you. That message lands far deeper than clever lines or constant conversation. Be still. Let the moment breathe. Silence, when grounded, creates emotional safety. It signals that you are not seeking approval. You are not chasing validation. You are simply present, and presence is rare. Presence is felt, presence is magnetic. This is one of those psychology tricks that doesn't look like a trick at all, because it's rooted in self-mastery, not manipulation. Women sense it immediately, they feel it in their nervous system before they can explain it in words. That's how female psychology works. It responds first to energy, then to logic. Most men think attraction is built by doing more, talking, more, explaining more, impressing more. That belief quietly works against them. Attraction often grows in the spaces between words, in the moments where nothing is forced. Don't rush to fill silence just to prove something. Be steady, be grounded. Let your calm speak. Silence handled. Well creates contrast, it slows the interaction down. It gives emotions room to surface, and emotions need space to grow. If you want to understand how to fall in love in a way that lasts constant noise blocks, that process stillness allows it. There is something deeply reassuring about a man who doesn't panic. When the conversation pauses, it tells her that he trusts himself. It tells her he's not performing. It tells her he doesn't need constant stimulation to feel secure. That kind of emotional stability is incredibly attractive, especially as people grow older and value depth over excitement. This is why secure silence becomes more powerful with maturity. It reflects life experience, it reflects inner order. And in female psychology, inner order often translates into emotional reliability. Be clear about this. Silence does not mean being cold. It does not mean being distant. It means being present without pressure. You can maintain eye contact. You can relax your body. You can stay open. You simply don't rush to fill every gap. That is the difference. That is the gesture. Almost nobody uses correctly when silence feels calm. Instead of tense, it becomes an invitation. It allows her to step forward emotionally. It allows curiosity to build, and curiosity is one of the strongest drivers in how to fall in love. People lean toward what feels grounded, not what feels frantic. Many men underestimate how much they reveal when they can't tolerate silence. Nervous talking often signals internal unrest. Over-explaining signals a need to be understood immediately, filling every pause signals a fear of losing connection. Don't do that. Trust the moment. Trust yourself when you're at ease. Silence becomes a shared space rather than an empty one. That shared space is where connection deepens. That's where attraction matures. That's where psychology tricks stop being tricks and start becoming natural expressions of who you are in female psychology. Calm confidence is not loud, it is quiet. It doesn't announce itself, it doesn't rush, it doesn't push. Secure silence embodies that perfectly. It shows that you don't need to control the interaction to feel okay inside. You are already okay. That inner state is what others respond to. This is why silence, when used with awareness, feels so different from withdrawal. Withdrawal feels closed. Secure silence feels open and steady. One repels the other, draws in. If you want to understand how to fall in love without games, without pressure, and without pretending to be someone you're not, start here. Learn to sit comfortably in silence. Learn to pause without anxiety. Learn to let moments unfold instead of forcing them forward. Be patient. Be centered. Be present. These are not flashy psychology tricks, but they work because they align with how female psychology actually functions. Attraction grows where safety and presence meet. The irony is simple: the less you try to impress in these moments, the more impact you have. Silence gives weight to your words when you do speak. It gives depth to your presence. It allows the interaction to feel real rather than rushed. And real connection is what most people are quietly searching for, even if they don't say it out loud. So don't fear the pause, don't rush the moment. Don't fill the space out of habit. Be still, be grounded, let your calm do the work. Because when silence is secure, it doesn't push love away. It invites it in. If this insight hit home, don't just scroll past it. Pause, let it sink in. Like the video, subscribe to the channel and share it with a man who needs to understand presence, not pressure. Now lock this lesson into your mind by commenting this below. Backhand index pointing down, I am present, grounded, and I don't seek validation. Say it once, mean it, because the strongest attraction is felt in silence, not chased with words. 5. the secure silence. Why this combination works is not mystery magic or manipulation. It is biology meeting emotional intelligence. When you combine these three elements, the slow approach, the soft present gaze, and secure silence, you activate something deep and ancient inside her nervous system. You are not pushing, you are not chasing, you are not trying to win, you are allowing. And that difference changes everything. The slow approach signals patience. It tells her body there is no rush and no pressure. In female psychology, speed often equals danger, slowness equals safety. When you move slowly, you activate her parasympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for relaxation, connection, and trust. That is where attraction actually grows. Don't underestimate this, be intentional. That is how a high-value man moves. Calm, measured, grounded. He does not hurry moments that are meant to unfold. Now contrast that with moving too fast. When you rush your words, your movements, or your intentions, you flip a different switch entirely. Her sympathetic nervous system turns on alert mode. Fight or flight, even if she smiles, even if she stays polite. Her body is no longer relaxed, and attraction cannot grow where tension lives. That is why so many men feel confused. They say the right things but move with the wrong energy. Don't do that. Be aware of pace. Pace is not about strategy, it's about masculine energy that is controlled. Instead of scattered, a man who knows how to slow down instantly feels different. He feels grounded, he feels intentional. And yes, he naturally attracts women because his presence creates calm instead of pressure. Then comes the soft, present gaze, not staring, not intensity for the sake of intensity, just relaxed eye contact that says, I'm here. That gaze does something powerful on a chemical level. It releases oxytocin, the hormone of bonding and trust. This is not a trick. This is how human connection works. Oxytocin tells her nervous system that closeness is safe, that emotional openness will not be punished, that she does not need to armor herself. Be present with your eyes, don't scan the room, don't fidget, don't rush to look away out of discomfort. That calm gaze is a signature of a high-value man. It shows certainty without force, it shows confidence without performance. It is quiet, masculine energy, and it is deeply felt. Now add secure silence and everything deepens. Secure silence is not emptiness, it is space. It is the pause that allows emotions to surface when you don't interrupt the moment with nervous talk. You give her room to feel what is happening. That is critical. Feelings need space to form. Silence handled well creates positive vulnerability. She is not being pushed to respond. She is not being LED by your words. Her subconscious mind begins to process on its own. And this is where the real shift happens. Without you saying a word, her inner dialogue starts. This man is safe. This man is mature. He's not afraid of intimacy. I can let my guard down. You didn't convince her of this, you demonstrated it. That is the difference between trying to attract women and simply being the kind of man women feel drawn toward. Don't fear silence, fear rushing. What should be felt? Silence gives weight to the moment. It allows her nervous system to stay relaxed instead of alert. It allows oxytocin to do its work. It allows trust to grow quietly. This is why secure silence is so rare and so powerful. Most men panic when words stop. They feel the urge to fill the space, thinking connection will vanish if they stop talking. Be different, be steady, be calm. That steadiness is masculine energy at its purest. It doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't need approval. When these three elements come together, slow approach, soft gaze, secure silence, you create a full-body sense of safety and connection. Not just logically, not just biologically, not just emotionally, but subconsciously. This is why the combination works. It speaks directly to how attraction is wired, not how it is imagined. A high-value man understands this instinctively. He doesn't rush intimacy, and he doesn't avoid it. He stays present, grounded, and lets the moment breathe. If you want to attract women without forcing outcomes, you must respect the nervous system, not fight it. Lead with calm instead of urgency. Allow space instead of filling it. This is not passive, this is mastery. This is controlled masculine energy, and it is far more persuasive than words ever could be. So don't move too fast. Be patient. Don't over-explain. Be present. Don't interrupt the moment. Let it unfold. When you do, attraction doesn't feel dramatic or chaotic. It feels natural, safe, real, and that's exactly why it lasts. 6. Why this combination works. The science. When you understand why this combination works, everything changes. This is not surface-level behavior. This is biology, psychology, and timeless human truth working together. Modern men miss it because they are rushed, distracted, and noisy, while attraction responds to something slower, calmer, and infinitely more powerful. When you combine a slow approach, a grounded presence, and intentional restraint, you activate her parasympathetic nervous system, the part of her body that governs relaxation, connection, and safety. Not excitement alone, but trust. Not stimulation, but comfort. This is where real attraction begins, because when a woman feels safe, she opens emotionally without being asked, without being pushed, without being persuaded. Science confirms this again and again. Move too fast and you trigger the opposite system, the sympathetic nervous system, the one designed for alertness, tension, and self-protection. The system that asks, do I need to guard myself? Do I need to pull back? Do I need to stay in control? No amount of clever words can override that biological response. That is why the man who slows down instantly separates himself from the crowd. He is not trying to extract a reaction. He is allowing an experience that is the difference between pressure and presence, when your gaze is soft but steady, unhurried and grounded. Her brain releases oxytocin, the hormone associated with bonding trust and emotional closeness, the same hormone that deepens attachment and lowers defenses. This is not manipulation. This is alignment with human nature. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When your inner state is calm, secure, and unthreatened, that calm colors the space around you. Silence plays a crucial role here. Secure. Silence is not emptiness, it is confidence without display, comfort without explanation. It tells her you are not afraid of pauses, not afraid of closeness, not afraid of intimacy. In that silence, she has room to feel, to notice, to process, to listen to her own emotional response. Most men interrupt that moment because they fear it. They fill it with jokes, explanations, reassurance, or noise. The man who holds silence with ease communicates maturity without saying a word. Her subconscious begins forming conclusions long before logic enters the room. This man is safe. This man is composed. This man is emotionally steady. I can lower my guard here. That conclusion opens the door to deeper connection. Not tactics, not lines, not tricks. This is where old Stoic wisdom quietly outperforms modern performance culture. Stoicism teaches mastery of the self before influence over others. When you embody that, you don't chase validation, you don't rush outcomes, you don't force chemistry. You allow it to surface naturally. Epictetus said, "First, tell yourself who you want to be, and then do what you must." This applies perfectly here. A man who is internally settled does not need to rush the moment. He trusts the process. In today's world, fast, loud, overstimulated, this calm presence is rare. Rarity creates value. Value creates attraction. This is why men who cultivate an iron mind stand out effortlessly. Their nervous system is regulated. Their emotions are under control. Their actions are deliberate, not reactive. When you live this way, dating stops feeling like a test and starts feeling like an exchange. You are not seeking approval. You are offering a stable emotional environment. Women feel it instantly, even if they cannot articulate it. This is the quiet power behind Stoicism, a philosophy that wins for modern men. It teaches you to slow your body, settle your mind, and let presence do the work words cannot. The advice is simple but demanding. Stop rushing moments. Stop performing interest. Stop trying to control outcomes. Enter interactions grounded. Breathe slower. Move slower. Speak less but mean more. Allow silence to exist without apologizing for it. Hold eye contact without force. Trust that calm is felt before it is understood. Attraction built on safety lasts longer than attraction built on excitement. Connection formed through presence runs deeper than connection formed through persuasion. When you master this, you are no longer competing with other men. You are operating on a different level entirely, guided by old Stoic wisdom, strengthened by an iron mind aligned with the biological truth of human connection. This is not about learning something new. It is about remembering something ancient, something steady, something timeless. The quiet strength that has always drawn people closer when you embody it. Fully, Stoicism wins, stops being a concept, and becomes your natural way of moving through the world. If you understand this, you're no longer guessing you're leading because most men rush. They pressure, they trigger resistance. But a man who moves slowly holds a calm gaze and allows silence. Create safety, trust, and deep connection. So if this clicked for you, don't stay silent. Drop this in the comments right now to lock it in. I move with calm presence and self-control, and people feel safe with me. Like the video, subscribe for more unshakable wisdom. And remember, real attraction begins when you stop rushing and start being present. 7. Clear signs. It's working. Clear signs it's working are never loud, never theatrical, and never something you can force, because when this manly gesture lands the way it's supposed to, her body responds before her mind has time to interfere. And that is why you must learn to recognize these signals with calm attention rather than excitement or ego, because you can't fake physiology and you shouldn't try to rush what is already unfolding. A slight smile appears on her face for no obvious reason. Not the polite social smile she gives strangers, not the defensive courtesy smile, but a quiet internal smile that comes from pleasure rising beneath awareness. And that smile alone already tells you that female psychology is responding to safety presence and emotional grounding rather than performance. And when you notice that her eye contact lasts longer than usual, softer, slower, more receptive, you must not stare harder or lean forward aggressively. Don't chase the moment. Don't tighten up, be still. Because this is where most men sabotage themselves by trying to do something. Instead of allowing the psychology tricks already in motion to continue doing their work, her eyes don't dart away quickly anymore. They linger, they invite, and that invitation is subtle but unmistakable if you are paying attention. And soon after unconscious touches begin to appear, she brushes her hair back, touches her lips briefly, grazes her neck, not as a signal to you directly, but as a form of self-soothing created by attraction, mixed with positive nervous energy. And this matters deeply because how to fall in love often begins not with words, but with the nervous system, recognizing something familiar and calming. And when her body starts moving closer without her making a conscious decision, when she leans her torso toward you, takes a small step forward, or removes physical barriers like a purse, a crossed arm, or the angle of her body that is not coincidence, that is alignment, and you must not rush to reward yourself for it. Don't celebrate internally. Don't smirk. Don't escalate prematurely because the power here comes from your restraint and your ability to stay grounded. While female psychology opens layer by layer, her voice begins to soften. It becomes more melodic, warmer, slower. And this shift in tone happens because her nervous system is transitioning from alert to receptive, from guarded to open. And that shift cannot be commanded or coaxed. It can only be invited through calm, masculine presence, and you'll notice her body orientation aligning toward you. Feet pointing in your direction, torso angled naturally without tension, shoulders relaxed posture. Open and these signals matter because they are involuntary. They come from oxytocin beginning to circulate from comfort and trust, forming beneath the surface, and even her breathing changes, becoming deeper, slower, more synchronized with yours if you are truly present. And these involuntary signs all point toward you. Not because you impressed her, not because you entertained her, but because you created a space where she feels safe enough to feel something. And this is where men who rely on surface level psychology tricks get confused because they look for reactions instead of responses. And reactions can be acted, but responses cannot. And open posture emerges, palms visible, shoulders relaxed, chin level. And these signals are almost impossible to fake because they are rooted in physiology, not intention. And that is why you must learn to read them without needing validation. Because the moment you look for confirmation, approval, or outcome, your energy shifts and female psychology senses. The change immediately: be calm, be patient, be observant, because how to fall in love is not about pushing emotion forward, but allowing it to rise naturally. And the man who understands this doesn't interrupt the process with insecurity or urgency. He stays centered, he stays present. He lets silence work, and that silence is not emptiness, it is emotional gravity. And when you understand these signs deeply, you stop guessing. You stop forcing conversations. You stop chasing reassurance, and instead you move with clarity and self-control, which is why these psychology tricks are not tricks at all, but reflections of emotional intelligence. And when used with respect, they align perfectly with female psychology because they honor the body's natural responses rather than trying to override them. And that is the quiet difference between a man who creates attraction effortlessly and a man who spends his life wondering why things never quite move forward. 8. How to apply it naturally. The number one key is simple, but most men miss it. Don't turn this into a performance the moment you think, now, I'm going to apply the gesture so she falls for me. It loses all its power completely because attraction does not respond to technique. When technique is driven by need, it responds to authenticity, and women can sense manipulation instantly. Not because they are suspicious, but because female intuition is finely tuned to intention. You must understand this clearly. The body reads intention before words ever arrive. So if your intention is to get something, to force an outcome, or to prove your worth, the gesture collapses. Be honest with yourself. If you're doing this to extract a reaction, Stop that is not strength. That is tension disguised as confidence. So, how do you make it authentic? You start from a place of genuine presence, not strategy, not psychology, tricks presence. That means you are actually there mentally, emotionally. You are not thinking three steps ahead. You are not measuring her response. You are not planning your next move. You are with her fully, and that alone already separates you from most men. Because a high value man does not enter moments with an agenda, he enters them. Grounded, calm, self contained, that is masculine energy at its most natural state. Not loud, not rushed, just steady. Don't do it to get something. Do it because you are genuinely enjoying the moment with her. This matters more than anything else because enjoyment cannot be faked. You either feel it or you don't, and when you do, your body relaxes, your shoulders drop. Your breathing slows, your movements soften, and suddenly the gesture is no longer something you do. It becomes something that simply happens. That is when it works. Not because you tried harder, but because you stopped trying at all. Move calmly, move the way you would at home when you are completely relaxed. Think about that version of yourself, the one who isn't performing, the one who isn't trying to impress anyone, the one who moves slowly because there is no pressure, that is the pace you want. Not exaggerated, not theatrical, just unhurried. A man who moves calmly sends a powerful signal. He communicates that he is not chasing time, approval, or validation, and that calm movement alone helps attract women far more effectively than clever words ever could look without seeking approval. This is crucial. Most men look at a woman while secretly asking a question. Is this working? Does she like me? Am I doing this right? And the moment you ask those questions internally, your gaze changes, it becomes tight. Searching needy, don't do that. Don't scan her face to see if it's working. That breaks the energy instantly because instead of presence, you project insecurity instead of calm. You project hunger. Be clear on this eye. Contact is not about checking for results. It is about sharing a moment period. That is why silence matters so much here. Embrace it. Don't rush to fill the pause. Don't reach for words out of discomfort. Learn to be comfortable in the quiet space between sentences. Silence is not empty. Silence is where connection deepens, and the more comfortable you are with silence, the more powerful the moment becomes. This is not theory. This is lived experience. A man who can sit in silence without fidgeting, without explaining himself, without entertaining signals. Deep self-trust, and that self-trust is magnetic. Most men are afraid of silence because silence exposes them. It removes distraction, it removes performance. But that is exactly why it works, because in silence, your masculine energy becomes visible not through action, but through stillness. Be the man who does not panic when nothing is happening. Be the man who allows the moment to breathe. That patience alone helps attract women more effectively than any scripted line. You must also understand that applying this naturally means letting go of control over outcome control. Over timing control over how she responds, a high value man does not manage attraction like a checklist. He creates conditions, he shows up grounded, he stays present, he allows, and paradoxically, that surrender to the moment is what creates the strongest pull because female psychology responds to emotional safety first, and safety comes from consistency, calmness, and presence. Don't confuse this with passivity. This is not about doing nothing, it's about doing less, but with more intention, less force, less urgency, less mental noise, and more awareness, more patience, more studiousness that is masculine energy in its refined form. Not aggressive, not performative. Simply anchored. As you practice this, you'll notice something interesting. The less you try to attract women, the more they lean in. The less you seek validation, the more curiosity you create because you are no longer asking for permission to exist in the moment. You are claiming it quietly, and that quiet confidence is rare, especially in a world where most men are over explaining, over texting, and over performing. Remember this. Psychology tricks only work when they stop feeling like tricks, when they align with who you actually are, when your inner state matches your outward behavior. If there is a mismatch, it shows always, so your real work is internal. Slow down your nervous system, ground yourself in the present. Enjoy the interaction for what it is, not for where you hope it will lead. Be patient with yourself as you learn this. This is not about perfection, it's about awareness each time you notice yourself rushing, pulling, or checking for results. Pause, breathe, return to presence. That return is the practice, and over time it becomes natural. That is how you apply it without forcing it. That is how you stop performing and start attracting. Not by adding something new, but by removing what was never needed in the first place. And when you do, you don't just attract women. You become a calmer, more centered man overall. A man who moves through life with quiet certainty. And that, more than anything else, is what truly lasts. Conclusion: the manly gesture that melts. Any woman and almost nobody uses. Psychology tricks. Hey, my friend, I'm really glad you stayed until the end. Let me leave you with something simple, honest, and powerful. This gesture that melts a woman is not a trick. It's not manipulation. It's not a performance. It's the natural expression of a man who is comfortable in his own skin. A man who doesn't chase validation. A man who can offer presence and security without asking for anything in return. A man who knows how to create intimacy without invading space. When you develop this kind of presence, it doesn't just change how women respond to you. It changes how you walk through life. You become calmer, clearer, more grounded. So the next time you're with a woman you're interested in, remember this. It's not about conquering her. It's about offering a safe space where she can relax, open up and be herself if you want to go deeper. Drop a comment below and write, "I master this gesture," and tell me honestly which one is hardest for you to apply. The slow approach, the soft gaze, or the secure silence. I read the comments and I'll help you out if this video helped you. Give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. We're building a community of men who grow through authenticity, not manipulation. Thanks for being here. See you in the next video. Big hug. Take care.